Alright. So what is up YouTube? This is your boy Vibhas here again, back with another video, and today we are going to see how to clean and lube your chain and also how to service your disc pads. So let's jump right in.
That's good.
Today we will discuss about chain lubing and why it is important for you to lube your chain every 500 kilometers on your bike. Let's move forward with it. Let us first discuss what is chain lubing. The process of chain lubing is nothing but cleaning your chain properly, getting rid of all the dirt that is present on your chain and lubing it for a smoother ride. That is what chain lubing is. It is important for you to lube your chain to experience a smooth ride while you're going on highway rides or long rides. Not only that, it is also helpful in city riding conditions. I will explain as to why I say that. There is a lot of gear shifting done in city riding conditions. For that, you need to lube your chain properly. If there is a lot of slack, a lot of dirt in your chain, every time you shift your gear, it's going to get harder and harder. It's going to make an unpleasant noise whenever you shift your gear. Mainly for that reason, you need to lube your chain. There are other advantages as to why you need to lube your chain. Lubing your chain, indirectly affects your engine. It indirectly puts a lot less amount of pressure. These two are the major reasons. The third reason, and by far the most important reason, would be the longevity of your chain sprocket. I have seen my friends losing their chain sprocket, or the chains breaking off, coming off in the middle of the road at 5,000, 6,000, 7,000, even 10 and 12,000 kilometers. But my chain lasted me 27,000 kilometers just because I lube the chain and clean it properly regularly at every 500 kilometers. If there is lot of dirt and slag on your chain whenever you move from point A to point B, it is going to put pressure on your engine indirectly. So how do we take that pressure off? We clean the chain first properly, we take all the dirt and slack off, and then we lube it so that it is a lot smoother. The chain spins a lot smoother through the front and the rear sprocket, which makes your ride better or more comfortable, I can say. Last but not the least, I have personally experienced an increment of 1 or 2 kilometers per liter in mileage or in fuel efficiency whenever I lube the chain when compared to when I do not lube the chain. These are the reasons why chain lubing is one of the most important aspects. In this video, we will also consider cleaning the disc pads. For better braking, you need to clean your disc pads regularly. Let us move forward and look as to how we clean and lube the chain, and also how we clean and service the disc pads. So the first thing that you need if you become a grease monkey and clean your chain is some old clothes. Your clothes might get dirty, so you need to wear old clothes, and some gloves if you have any. So in addition to your old clothes, you would need some WD-40, the chain lube of course, some diesel, the stand. I use this as a replacement for pallet stand on the Dominar. I will demonstrate as to how this works. An old cloth and a container or a jar in which you're going to dip your brush. So the first thing that you need to do is obviously put a stand on your bike for it to lean one way so that you can clean your chain. I'm using the Revex stand. This costed me somewhere around 500 rupees from Revex. So let me show you how to put it. So this is how you put it. The first thing that you need to do is to spray some diesel over your chain and let it sit there for 3 to 5 minutes. As you can see, my chain is all dried up because of the summers. I'm going to spray some diesel all over my chain. Make sure that the chain is soaked nicely with the diesel so that all the slack goes off with the diesel. Basically, this is the degreasing part of the chain lubing process. Now my chain is pretty clean, so there is not much to degrease over here. However, there are people who do not clean their chains properly, and the degreasing part is much more rigorous in those bikes. We are going to let the chain soak up all the diesel and sit there for at least 5 minutes so that we can brush it off later. There is a lot of talk about whether you can use diesel or whether you have to use kerosene. However, I say that both are almost same compounds. You can either use diesel or kerosene, whichever is readily available. Now we're going to brush the chain off, so let me show you how to do that. So you make sure that your brush is dipped in the kerosene or diesel, whatever you're using, properly, so that it soaks the kerosene or diesel, and after that you need to brush your chain properly. With one hand you can rotate the tire, and with the other you can brush your chain, or probably you can take someone's help, ask them to rotate the wheel for you, and you can just put the brush at one position on the chain and it gets cleaned properly. We're going to do it this way too. So as you can see, the amount of dirt, the amount of slack coming off of the chain, this is why cleaning your chain is important. Let's do it one more time. So previously I forgot to mention, you need to remove this cap and also make sure that the slack from here is gone as well. You need to spray diesel on it. There are 3 bolts here which you need to loosen up and remove this particular lid that is covering the front part of the chain or the smaller part of the sprocket. I do apologize, my bike's a little dirty because of the lockdown. As you can see, there is a lot of dirt. You need to degrease the front part of the sprocket as well. Make sure that you drench it with diesel properly. So this is how you're going to clean the smaller end of the sprocket. So as you can see, my brush has 2 ends. One is to clean the chain, and the other is used for the corners, like the front end of the chain sprocket. My hand is all dirty and greasy. So as you can see, all the dirt, the slack, and the extra grease of the chain loop is coming off of the front end of the sprocket. So we are done with this end, and look at all the dirt that is present over here, and you can see that the sprocket is much cleaner right now. Let us go to the rear end of the sprocket now. So after you've left the chain for 3 to 5 minutes after brushing it, we will make sure that we spray diesel one more time before we go ahead and clean it with a cloth. This is just to make sure that whatever extra dirt is present on the sprocket falls off with the diesel. As you can see, the dirt is still coming off of the chain. I use WD-40 for my chain so that it does not get rusted soon. However, if you would like, you can skip this step. Here goes the WD-40. We're going to take a dirty cloth and wipe the chain now, after which we will apply the chain lube and we are done. This is the amount of dirt that came off. So I use the Castrol chain lube. As you can see, you can use Motul or any other chain lube, and one from the inside. You're going to do it 2 times, one from the outer end and one from the inner end, and we are done. Now let me talk about the various types of chain lubes that are available in the market. The best and the cheapest chain lube that you can get, or that everybody recommends, if you are on a budget, the 90 grade gear oil works best. However, I do not use the 90 grade gear oil. Due to the action of the rolling of chain, it throws some of the gear oil onto my pants, and it is really difficult for me to remove those stains later on. So I avoid using gear oil. I use chain lube. There are different types of chain lubes that I've used, speaking of which, Motul, Worth, Muc-Off, and the Castrol chain lube that I'm currently using. Out of these 4, the best that I find, or the best chain lube that I find for Dominar, is Motul. The second best would be Castrol, third best would be Worth, and fourth would be Muc-Off. I mean, Muc-Off, it does not last that long, say 200 to 300 kilometers. However, Castrol and Motul last me 450 to 500 kilometers. Last but not the least, the Worth. It lasts long, I must say. It lasts me 600 to 700 kilometers, but it is not as smooth when you compare it to Motul, or even for that matter Castrol. I hope you liked the first part of the video, which includes cleaning and lubing the chain. I did not expect it to be so long. However, thank you so much for your support. If you liked the video and found it helpful, please do like, comment, share and subscribe, and see you in the second part of the video. Ciao!